And let me tell you,
Oh,
man.
well, do we do the top 10?
Oh, you're right. What am I doing? I'm skipping
We
things.
got to
Let me
do the
get to the
top
top
10.
10. Let me pull up the
This is
top
what
10.
this might be what the people
I think based on the ratings, this is what the people came for. So
really want to
again,
see.
everyone, I'm a big dumb dipshit. Okay, so
We're trying
take
our
that into
best here.
account. Factor that.
We're trying our best. That's what we do.
Let me just go ahead and pull up that top 10, and we can just kind of talk about some things here.
Yep. All right. So, you know, when you really look at it, now I'm pretty sure there is a red arrow that shows USC going down. Now, the red gets blocked out by the cardinal of USC, so you can't really tell.
Sorry about it.
But I'm sorry, we try our best. We're not working with the biggest budget here, okay? So just let us live. Um, I was tempted, and you can talk about this too, to not change anything.
No, yeah.
Like
No,
initially,
I
I
thought
said
about it.
like I don't really know. Like, am I moving teams up for? Am I gonna move a team down for winning? Move a team up? Blah blah blah. Eventually, I kind of leaned on moving USC down because even though they won, they didn't win as well and as convincing as Texas did. And now this is 2 games. I won't even count the ASU game. The first game of the year against San Jose State, defense was a little shoddy. All the other games were okay. This is 2 games now where defense has kind of given up a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit too much, especially in this game in the second half. San Jose State was in the first half more. But I guess we can start at the bottom with the honorable mentions. So Notre Dame's still in there. They moved down from 10, mainly not be like it's like, oh, you're punishing them for a win. I'm more hyping up Washington State's now victory over Oregon State because Oregon State pretty much manhandled Utah, and
Yeah.
Washington State beat that Oregon State team and was up with 3 minutes. If you check the box score, it'll be a 3-point game, but they were up
They are
by
10, right?
17 late in the fourth. So they were kind of they were dominating for most of the game. So I moved them up. I think this team is good. Cam Ward outside shot for a Heisman. He's been pretty good at QB. But you can kind of see the other honorable mentions there. Bama kind of jumps back in. Nice had a nice 2 weeks in a row. They're kind of letting Milrow just do what he was supposed to be doing the whole game, which is either run it or throw it deep.
Oh, deep.
So there you go. Oregon State back up after their loss. Washington State, nice win over Utah. And then we had 3 in the honorable mention last time, but I wanted to put Oklahoma in just to kind of hype up that next week is Red River, and I'd like to give um, them some love. Uh,
Yeah.
Oklahoma a little bit of love. I still don't think that they're that good. They haven't really played anybody at all. Played
No.
Cincinnati and struggled with them, and Cincinnati stinks. But it is River next week. That's big noon, or maybe not big noon, but I know
I
it'll
think it
be
is
at.
big noon.
I know it's at 9, but I don't know if that technically is big noon. It might be the Ohio State game. But either way, big game. So I wanted to give Oklahoma a shout out. That's going to be a huge game. Oklahoma, Texas. For those who don't know what Red River is, it's Oklahoma versus Texas. They're playing at the Cotton Bowl. Electric.
Yeah. It's a great environment.
So
It's a
yeah,
one of a kind game.
if you wanted to speak on any of those honorable mentions, I feel like pretty fair. I think what teams are kind of left out, like I don't even know. There's a couple teams like Utah. I kind of bumped them. Like I don't know what to do with them until Rising comes back, if he ever comes
Yeah.
back. Um, but yeah, North Carolina's undefeated. I don't think they're very good. Ole Miss. I still don't think a win over LSU doesn't do much for me. Miami is undefeated. They were kind of a shout, but still haven't seen much. I'm gonna wait for a big game from them, but yeah, if you want to speak on any of the honorable mentions, you can.
So I think it's more so I like the honorable mentions that we have. I think Bama definitely earned their way back in the honorable mentions. Like we
Yeah.
said, it's not difficult with Milrose. You got a guy that's got a cannon for an arm,
Mhm.
not the greatest intermediate. It's okay. And he can run the ball and hold on to that. So
Yeah.
let's play to his strengths. Let's run the ball, run some play action pass with that, throw the ball deep. We got some decent speedsters, stretch the field a little bit, play some defense. Oregon State, I was very impressed by their win. Again, I'm with you as far as I don't know what Utah we're gonna get, especially
Yeah.
when Rising comes back. They're kind of a
If
second
yeah.
half of the year team. They're kind of like the Kansas City Chiefs. Not that they've
Yeah.
won the same amount, but like that they're gonna kind of start slow and then they're gonna kind of put the pieces together later.
Yep. As long as
Um,
Rising's back. Now that is the
yeah,
key caveat. Like if he never just plays football again, then
yeah, their
this
new
team
quarterback.
sucks.
I don't know what in the hell he's doing every week, but
Not
it is
good.
not great because I've seen 4 weeks now where he just looks lost in the passing game. Like
Yeah,
even
not good.
simple concepts like run a little curl route against, a cover three with a little curl flat, like he's not really reading it.
He's not reading
So
anything. He couldn't read green
yeah,
eggs and ham if you tried.
pretty much. And that's an easy lock, that's
Oh,
a quick little
that's as free as it gets.
yeah. I think this is kind of jumping ahead. I agree with Washington State being number 10. And we talked about this too in our little pregame meeting. I think Notre Dame should have
Yeah.
jumped over for Florida State.
Yeah.
And you could call me a hater of Florida State. I'm just not buying it.
Nick
I
is
don't think
very,
they're that
very
good.
much out on Florida State. I
Yeah.
am pretty out. I'm I just am kind of just waiting for him to lose so then we can really just plummet them,
Just
you
bury
know?
them.
Yeah, like like they did beat like all right, they went into Clemson and won. How much does that mean this year? I don't know. I have no idea. Duke beat Clemson handily. Notre Dame beat Duke. So, there's that.
Yeah.
But they are undefeated. They have a I mean, I don't know. I just felt bad. I don't know. You
No,
could
I
probably put them out from 8. I think top 7 I like.
yeah,
Georgia and up, I feel like there's a pretty good gap. From
yeah,
8 down, besides from 8 through Notre Dame.
yeah.
So Florida State, Oregon, Washington State, Notre Dame. I could go any way. You
It's
could tell
definitely a
me
toss-up.
you could tell me Notre Dame 8, you could tell me Oregon 8, you could tell me Washington. Like I wouldn't say no to Washington State at 8 either. Those guys, I really do think they're pretty good.
They're
I'm gonna
dogs.
look and see when they're playing at UCLA this weekend. That's gonna be a decent test.
Yeah.
UCLA's tough for sure. I mean they battled in there with Utah for a while, but yeah, not much change. Oregon kind of just slammed Stanford, which is expected. It was kind of close early. They kind of got out to a slow start, but I kind of to be expected after a blowout. Like you have a huge win against Colorado, you're going to kind of come out the gates a little bit slow. I think it was like 3-3 after the first quarter, or maybe
I
Stanford
think it
was up
was
3-0 or something like that.
yeah, it was 3-0 at the end of the first, and I think it's also fair to bring in, like, Stanford and Oregon always play each other tough. Like,
Yeah.
there's
No, the Stanford will give them
you
a
never
game
know.
for a little bit, but eventually they kind of Stanford's rebuilding. Shout out their head coach Troy Taylor. Um,
Is that the,
went to he was Sac State head coach.
Sac
Went to
State?
college with my
Yeah,
dad at Cal. They played
maybe.
together, so know him pretty well. Yeah. So whenever anybody comes in and says, "Oh, you guys don't know nothing about," I know enough about ball. All right, I know
But
more of these head coaches than you do, buddy.
but we'll be
So
the first to
back
tell
up.
you, we don't know
I'm
shit
s-
about fuck, so
I
that's
don't know I don't know a lot, but I do know some of these coaches. So that means I know
a thing
a
or
little
two.
bit. I know a thing or two. I could call some people. We could get some crazy guests on here. We could get a couple college head coaches on here if we
I'd love
really
that.
had to. My uncle come on. I could get some guys now.
Let's
All
do it.
right. I
Let's do
still
it.
got pull.
You said
F
film review with your uncle, he's like, who's this dipshit? Like,
That would be
well,
pretty sweet, actually. We
you're
might
on
have to
our
jot
show,
that
so
down.
that might need to be.
Florida State, you kinda heard what we said. Georgia, another escape. You're lucky I didn't put them down. Everyone's gonna just say, "Oh, they should be top 5." Nope, I won't do it. I'm telling you, they're gonna lose to somebody. Like, let's look.
Plenty.
Kentucky this week, they won't lose them. They always beat Kentucky. Vanderbilt, they'll be fine. Florida, they'll probably be fine. Um, but then they'll have, a Missouri, Ole Miss back to back. I have a feeling like
At Tennessee,
yeah, Tennessee, I feel like they stink though, but
yeah, they're
you know
about
what's criminal? And I look at it every time and I'm mind blown. They have 8 home games and 4 away games.
what?
How can that happen? How is this allowed? They already have one of the easiest schedules ever. UT Martin, Ball State, UAB. They're out of conference game. Their rivalry game is Georgia Tech. Like that's not a game. Like
Yeah,
that's 4 freebies. You throw Vanderbilt in there, another freebie. That's
5
5 games
freebies.
where where I could put a all-star high school team together and they'd probably win. It's just pathetic. So that's why they stay at 7. Michigan did their job. Penn State did their
Yeah.
job. Like 5, 6, 7. Everyone kind of just there's no reason for me to move them up or down. They all
They just held
did.
serve.
They held serve. They did what they were supposed to do. Playing inferior competition, moved on. USC down from 2 to 4. Now, don't get it twisted. They still have the best offense maybe ever. That
Yeah.
LSU offense was pretty crazy, but they have the best player in football. But that defense, they played bad enough to where I can justify moving them down for
Got to do
sure.
some tackling drills this week.
Now,
A lot of
not
them.
below these other teams because I feel like these other teams have maybe not bigger glaring weaknesses, but they have nothing that they're great at.
Yeah.
They have nothing that they're excellent at. And at the end of the day, USC's offense could trump anything on any given day.
Yeah.
So that's always going to keep them higher for me than a team that kind of just like Georgia just wins, like a mid game. They go like they win 30-14 or, it's just not fun. And I did see something very interesting,
Hmm.
which goes to the point of why we have USC so high. There is only one team in college football who has not trailed at a single point
I saw
this
that.
season, and that is USC.
That's impressive right there. That just lets you know that the offense is a bunch of
They
dogs.
are
Like they're
always out in
just
front. There has
tired.
never been a game where they have even been concerned about being behind or a team goes out 7-zip. They got not one time. They have only team in college football that has led at every single point this season. So sue me for putting them in the top 5.
Don't really.
Ohio State moves up by default, or no, technically they don't because they were at 3. It's kind
And
of
they
a
just
swap between they just kind of chill. They didn't play anyone, whatever. Texas, I would say, out of everyone, had the best win.
Yeah.
Now they were playing a backup QB at Kansas, but their defense did play well and their offense did play like they played well from what was in front of them. I would say it's because our offense did so well against a ranked opponent. Now I don't really Kansas's defense is whatever.
yeah.
But yeah, and then Washington at 1. I still think they're really good. I don't care about a weird game against Arizona. It's
Pac-12 after
Pac-12.
dark.
It's Pac-12 after dark, man. Sometimes anything goes.
Yeah.
No one else did enough for me to justify they have to be ahead of Washington. That's my thoughts. You can kind of give your opinion on more like the top 4, just kind of 5 and down. There wasn't much, but like the top 4 is where we had a little bit of shakeup. So let me know what you think.
Yeah. I mean, like we said, I agree with you for the serve here. I agreed with Texas jumping Ohio State. USC, just if we're not going to tackle people one-on-one, let's
Got to
start running some
tackle.
zone coverage.
Do something, please.
Just get a
Something
couple
different.
people out there.
Yeah,
Um,
wouldn't hurt.
no, I don't disagree. I'd love to hear people's, disagreement or agreement in
Yeah,
the comments
let us
below.
let
Let us
us know.
know. We love to have some, conversation back and forth. Don't just tell us again like we're big dumb dipshits. We already know.
Yeah.
Okay, you just save your breath.
Don't be like some of these people I talk to who are like, well, I would just put Georgia at 1 because they've won 21 straight games. Why though? Why in this season? Not why because they're 2-time national champs. Why? Why would you guys have USC? The AP poll has USC at 9. Why?
Pretty disrespectful to be honest, but
Like you win 2 games and then you drop four spots in total. Versus some of these teams didn't even play and they go up. Georgia almost actually does lose, stays at 1. So like why? Give me your own justification on it. Don't just be a sheep. Okay? You look at this list. Tell us if we're sheep. We got freaking Washington at 1. Got Georgia at 7. We're not cookie cutter here, okay? We call it how we see it, and we see that Georgia is not that good. And anybody that watched the game,
knows.
we're watching games. We're big dumb stooges. We don't have plans on a Saturday. We're not going like we're sitting on the couch either by ourselves or with our dads, and we're watching ball, and
Drinking
that's why
beers.
I'm seeing all these games. I know what's going on. So don't just tell me, oh, like you don't know what you're talking about. You're a Pac-12 home or you like USC. Like sue me. Sue me for thinking that USC has the best offense and Washington's the best team.
Sorry about it.
Sorry about it, but I won't be.
No, I won't be.